Well, guys, on Netflix, right before they yanked it, I decided I would marathon the 4 Jaws movies. Yes, starting with the first, I'm giving you my review now. And this movie, as you know, is something of a masterpiece. It's an excellent film, and these movies only get worse with like each sequel. So we're starting off here. It's 1975, the movie that invented the concept of the summer blockbuster, made like an insane amount of money. It was either $300 or $400 million. At a time when movies were not making that sweet a dough. You had some other stuff doing pretty decent stuff too, like Exorcist had a whole lot for an R-rated movie, and then shortly hereafter you have Star Wars that really changes the game. But Jaws is rated PG, and it is a hard PG. You can see a whole lot of this first victim. There's a pretty splendid amount of gore, good amount of blood. You wouldn't see this much blood in a PG-13 Avengers movie these days. But anyways, getting on with the film, directed by Steven Spielberg, as you know. We got these young kids out at the beach. We have John Williams. I think this is really the score that really put him on the map. And it really only has like 2 notes that play. It's like, do-no. And that's all you need to know that that's Jaws. And of course it speeds up. But there's also a little bit of a whimsical adventure in the score too. I don't think people pick up on, particularly late in the movie. But anyways, these teenagers are out at the beach. This girl's kind of giving this guy the looks, and then she starts running off, takes off her clothes, says she's going swimming, but the guy's too drunk to really follow, stumbles and passes out at the beach. She's in the water. It's I guess the sun's coming up, and we have her in the water. It's a very high contrast look, and all of a sudden we hear the tone, you know, dun-no, dun-no, and then this shark comes and gets her, but you don't see it. It's pulling her around. She's getting pulled by some cables underwater. I believe that the actress here didn't take a liking to this. Hell, the shots from under the water give you quite the anatomical view of her. But I think it was actually considered quite dangerous the way she was getting yanked around. And you wouldn't see that today, hell no, because you'd have a CGI person in that spot. You wouldn't have an actual person in the water here. So she goes down, and that's it. She's toast. Well, we come to where we're hanging out with Chief Brody, Roy Scheider, and you know, he's kind of an iconic character here, Chief Brody. He's a bit timid about going in the water, doesn't like being in the water, but he's from New York, and he's at this place, Amity Island, is it? It's also, you gotta keep in mind, Amityville Horrors. So there's like 2 horror films with this Amity location. But anyways, he sees of this body, and people are like, oh shit, this is bad stuff. The kid that was gonna go skinny dipping with her was there, they point out, and they look at how mangled up the body is, and it's pretty gruesome. There's crabs all over it. But he's like, hey, we gotta shut down this beach. This is shark attack. Oh, but 4th of July is coming up. We can't have you do that, says the mayor of the place, Mayor Douche. Yeah, his last name's Vaughn, and I think it says on the side of his car he's a realtor. It's like, oh, we can't be hasty now, we can't be doing this. And then Roy's hanging out at the beach, and this is a great scene because we have this guy kind of playing with his dog, and then we have this kid who wants to go in the water, and they're all kind of just doing this, and people are trying to talk to Chief Brody, and he's ignoring them. It's not important what they're saying. We're really focusing on what he's observing. He's trying to take this all in, and then all of a sudden you hear this guy say, hey, where's my dog? Hey, whatever your name, Skippy or some shit. Dog's not coming. And then you're like, oh shit, something's going down. And then here comes the shark. And this is where you get the first like fleeting glimpse of the shark. And it looks pretty big and gruesome and shit. Like, you don't really see the mouth, but you see this kid on this raft who's kind of going for a ride here, and he gets killed. So right away we've killed a chick and a kid. Now, yeah, under the horror movie rules, the chick slutting out, okay, she's gone. Kid, this shark's not playing fair now, is he? So now we're looking for a shark. Well, they have a town meeting, and that's where we introduce this guy Quint at like 20 minutes in the movie. Robert Shaw, he's like, oh yeah, you know who I am, I'll kill this shark, but it's gonna be $10,000, just me alone, I'm doing this by myself, I'll have your shark. And they're like, well, we don't want to necessarily do that. The mom of the kid that died, she approaches Chief Brody and slaps him in the face, and this was something I didn't like. Because she's like, I just want you to know my son died. Crack. I'm pretty sure he knows because he was damn there. Oh, hey, I found out that you knew somebody died a week ago. I'm confused at the timeline here. It really seemed like later that day, this other attack occurs. Not a week later. So, anyways, people are in a panic. There's a $3,000 bounty up. Capture this shark. Somebody catches a shark. And I wonder, but thanks to IMDb taking down the message boards, if this shark that was caught, that they then gut and pull stuff out of, if that's not an actual shark, or at least some of those shots, that was some of the most amazing prosthetics ever, if that's not the case. I really don't know here. But it's a convincing ass tiger shark. Well, now we have this guy, Hooper. He's a marine biologist, shark specialist. He's on the scene, helping Chief Brody, played by Richard Dreyfuss. This really kicks off the Richard Dreyfuss hanging out with Steven Spielberg movies. And it's kind of a shame we don't get more Richard Dreyfuss and stuff, because I think he's pretty good here. He adds something to this. There's a way that he kind of rubs against the old world sailor Quint. And yeah, we're continuing here. Anyways, Richard Dreyfuss goes underwater to look for some stuff. Sees this. There's some other guys that get attacked by a shark, but they get away. Forget that. He goes and looks in this boat, and his head floats out at him. Well, this body. And I guess this was kind of timed in a way that it's like The Omen, where the guy's head gets cut off, and people are like, ah! And then they turn around, and it's still there on the screen. And this really scared the shit out of people back in '75. My dad told me he'd seen the movie, and then he went back to watch it again in theaters. Sat in the back to watch people's reaction for that scene. And it was so funny because of the way people were screaming. But as we continue here, we've got Hooper, Brody, Quint are now charged with this expedition to go get this shark, because shit's getting pretty bad. So, okay, well, also there's some other shit. Things were not doing too bad, and then Chief Brody's kids, chiefly his older son, Mike, has a little dinghy. He wants to go in the water, but he can't. He has to go to a little pond. It's not really no pond, but the shark got in there, ate a guy, and then swam past Matt, freaked him out. So now they're in charge and going on this expedition. And they're like, okay, we got the money for you, but I'm the cop and I'm going with, and this guy Hooper's come with me, and this is what I'm talking about. We have Quint really testing Hooper on his seaworthy knowledge here, and he's passing the exam, and we kind of find that as it goes along, they get to be kind of good buds on this quest and adventure they're on. Now we're on the hunt. We're out at sea for like the last act of the movie, and it gives you this sense of not only the adventure and the music, but it's nice that they have a worthy objective here. And also, it's quite ominous. Like, they'll attach barrels to the shark to help them spot it and pull it towards the surface so they can spear it better, I guess. But these barrels, when they appear, you know the shark's around too. So it's as frightening as the fin, really. I do want to say though, at night, there's a scene where, and yeah, thank you IMDb for taking down resources. It looks to me like the wide shots of the exterior of the boat are, this is around their sea shanty scene, and how he's telling the story of how he was on the Indianapolis that had a shark attack after it sunk. There's a situation where I think that it's shot day for night, and the water wakes as these barrels are floating up and moving. They're white, so they colored them in by hand green, and it's a little off-putting. It's just, you know, maybe the effects of the day in some regard just couldn't keep up here. That's all I'm saying here. So next day they're still pursuing the shark, and then things really turn around. The engine's going bad and the shark is hunting them, and they see the shark and all this, and it's like 25 feet. You get this line, "We're going to need a bigger boat," but everybody misquotes it. You're going to need a, well, okay, the line in the movie is, "You're going to need a bigger boat." Everybody misquotes it saying, "We're going to need a bigger boat." So just keep that in mind. It's so often misquoted, you probably say it wrong yourself. And it's something I kind of had to listen to closely and even turn on the subtitles. So, their boat starts to get under attack by the shark. The scene where we really get the shark head up on the boat, pushing its way into them. Yeah, maybe that's not quite correct. You kind of looks like you have the shark log kind of slamming in a weird way. But it's a fleeting glance at it. It's not that bad of a situation. And then when the shark really starts to munch down on the boat and it's pulled sideways, it's about to capsize, Quint starts sliding in to its mouth. And yes, you can see where the shark has the different hinges in its mouth. And that's not quite shark anatomy right there, but it may not bother you that much. The rest of the shark looks really outstanding. There was a bit of a there was a situation earlier where Quint had this machete. He had to cut this line, this rope, and he hit the machete down on the side of the boat, and he has the machete in his hand when he's being eaten, and he jabs at the shark and it's not doing much. It just kind of gets stuck in there. Maybe you'd be kind of expecting more from it right there, because the movie's giving you these foreshadowed hints, like, oh, maybe that's what they're going to use to kill the shark. But earlier they'd even said, hey, be careful with those oxygen tanks. Those can explode. Wink, wink. Well, Hooper had went underwater in the shark cage. It's getting torn up. He hides in like some reef below. Ship's going down, and now it's just Brody, and he's got a gun. I think he has a .357 rifle. The Mythbusters ended up testing this and found out it couldn't work, but it's a cool scene because the shark is now pressing in on the boat. It gets an oxygen tank lodged in its mouth that Brody threw at it, and then he's like looking for the tank. He's going, "Where's the tank? Show me the tank." And he's shooting at it, and he's missing, and he's up on the mast, and it's going down. He fires. He's like, "Smile, you son of a bitch!" Boom. So you have a kill line. It's like an action movie before action movies were really a thing, and you have this exclamatory excitement. That's something that really carried over with Duel, the Steven Spielberg movie that was made for TV and then got a theatrical release, where this guy defeats this trucker who's trying to run him off the road, and he's really excited when he does. And that's the kind of joy you get here. You need that kind of release. And then Hooper surfaces. He's like, "So, Quint? Nah, he didn't make it. Whatever." He's like, "Nope. Let's go back to shore." And they were near the shore. When you watch this on TV, I kind of got the idea that they were further out, because in the wider angle, the widescreen, you could see shore by them, not too far away. But I was like, shit, they're not gonna make it. And then as the credits play, they get there. But yeah, this is a movie everybody likes. Jaws, 3.5 out of 4 stars.